Good evening, everyone. Bear with us with a few technical things that we've been sorting out over the last several days, but we made it. We're here. So we're so happy to see everybody tonight. And forgive me if I actually get a little teary-eyed tonight because it's taken a lot for our students and our families to get to this moment, and we are so excited to be here. Superintendent Benigni, Board of Education member Mrs. Sisti, faculty, staff, family, friends, and students of the class of 2020. I want to welcome you this evening as we celebrate our 2020 Berlin High School commencement. What a year it has been. Tonight is a very special moment for our students and their families as we close one chapter and move on to another. Whenever I think of the number 20 and the class of 2020, I think of 2020 perfect vision. I've always thought it would be really cool to be part of the class of 2020. 2020 is when you can see everything clearly. 2020 is perfection, right? Many of you are likely thinking, not so much this year. There's another notion related to the number 20, and that is that hindsight is also 2020. Hindsight offers the chance to look back with a different perspective because of what you have just experienced. I started writing this message when we began our school closure due to COVID in March. And at that time, I couldn't help but wonder, what would that perspective be? I never imagined that you would not return before June 21st. You had been feeling sad, disappointed, and even mad about missing special opportunities, including celebrations, sports, clubs, proms, concerts, and other events. Even though you always remained optimistic and respectful, I knew you were missing the moments with your friends and teachers and worried about the uncertainty of what was to come. It is okay to feel sad, mad, and disappointed because although you were doing what was right for the greater good, it was unfair and upsetting, especially when this was supposed to be the year. But here you are, together as an entire class, celebrating your amazing accomplishment, a feat far more difficult than one could have ever imagined, and one that you have handled with incredible grace and class. Over the course of the spring, I had several opportunities to talk with senior students. Your optimism inspired me to stay positive and keep pushing for this event to happen like this with you in your seats for your ceremony. So what perspective do I hope hindsight will provide you from this crazy COVID situation? A few years from now, you will be able to look back on this emotional experience that you shared with your classmates with a different perspective. You'll laugh at the ways you found to stay connected with friends and teachers during the Stay Safe, Stay Home campaign. Who knew sitting in the Berlin High School parking lot would be a thing? Someday your children may ask, "What's with the mask?" You'll realize all the new skills you developed with technology, communication, problem solving, empathy, or how to survive a pandemic without power. You'll understand why the words Zoom and social distancing are now considered verbs. You'll appreciate the extra minutes and hours spent with your family. You'll be better equipped to handle uncertainty and to take things in phases. You'll adapt more easily and know more ways to celebrate one another's successes. You'll rely on the resilience you developed when you need to tell your future self, "I will get through this." You, more than others, will know the sacrifice you made to save a life and keep your community safe. You'll have taught future senior classes to not take things for granted and appreciate each person, each day, and each moment in their Berlin High School careers. Please know, I still think it would be the coolest thing to be part of the class of 2020. You were desperately missed in our hallways and classes, and we too, as adults, feel robbed that we did not spend all 180 days with you this year. We all had tears in our eyes as you drove through the parking lot on June 21st during the car parade. This may not have been the type of senior year you imagined, but know you have made Berlin High School a stronger, better place with your optimism, resourcefulness, and resilience. For that, class of 2020, you have had 2020 perfect vision in every way. Congratulations, graduates. It's time to celebrate. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce Daniel Lynch, Senior Class President.
Good evening, students, family members, BHS faculty, members of the Board of Education, and distinguished guests. It is a great honor to have the opportunity to speak on behalf of our senior class at such an important part in many students' lives as our journey through 12 years of school has come to a close. Although our senior year at Berlin High School came to an abrupt end and did not go the way we planned, there are still many things to thank Berlin High for. To begin, it was such a privilege to be able to experience a newly renovated Berlin High School. Berlin High is truly a state-of-the-art high school with beautiful facilities and cutting-edge technology that help prepare us for a competitive future, whether in college, the workforce, or the military. But this speech is not all about the last 12 years of competitive academics and state-of-the-art facility. This speech is intended to focus on a greater lens I hope we can all take away from Berlin High School, and that is happiness. We tend to overstress about grades, tests, applications, awards, and we become blind to what should be focused on in life, which is happiness. By no means are grades not important, but there are things in life that are far more meaningful. You won't look back at high school and remember your GPA or your SAT score. You will look back at high school and remember your relationships and friends that made 139 Patterson Way so special. Use high school as it should be. Use high school as a learning curve for your next steps in life. Find out what makes you happy and chase it. Some students here today will be award winners, elected politicians, decorated athletes, highly regarded scholars, police officers, teachers, brave members of the military, and so much more. It's so important in today's world that we value everyone for their individual identity and what positive contributions they add to society. Success is a relative term. And to me, success is defined as finding meaning in life and pursuing the things you love. No matter the life choice you choose, remember that you are unique and so is your story. So don't look to others to judge yourself. A quote that perfectly encapsulates what I'm trying to say was said by Beatles star John Lennon. When I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they did not understand life. While I spent much of this speech talking about finding happiness, I want to take this opportunity to touch on an equally important message, a message that connects how I personally found happiness during my 4 years of high school, and that was through giving back to the Berlin community. This sentiment is reflected brilliantly by JFK in his 1961 inaugural address. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. But carry on the context of that quote even further. What can you do for your community, your neighborhood, and your family? Today more than ever, America is desperate for leaders on every level. Be unique, carry your own thoughts, and let your voice be heard. Let today represent not only a milestone, but a launchpad to transcend the lessons taught from BHS and be a representative of the community that will forever be your home. Whether you achieve great success or reach rock bottom, as Tim McGraw once sang, always stay humble and kind. Be the change you want to see in the world. Don't wait around for initiative, be your own initiative. Whatever your calling in life may be, embrace it. Focus on how you can help others and how you can become happy. It was truly an honor to be your class president. I have a tremendous amount of respect for each and every one of you, and I look forward to hearing about all that is to come in our futures. May you find happiness. Thank you. Is that good?
Next, I would like to introduce our salutatorian, Matthew Uriga.
Time is our most valuable resource, the most important aspect of our lives. Just like family or friendships, time is precious. Sure, employers may try to put a price on your time, but time can't be bought. You can't own it, nor can you keep it for later. Time waits for no one. And unfortunately for us, time is far from infinite. It's scary to think about, but each one of us has a limited amount of time to do the things we want to do, to see the sights we want to see. We are forced to spend our time on only what is most important to us. Time is precious, and we cannot afford to waste any of it. But that begs the question, what is considered wasted time? Well, that differs wildly from person to person, but generally speaking, I believe that wasted time is time spent doing something when it could have been spent doing something better or for a better purpose. And this is why it is so radically different between people. Everyone has different interests, beliefs, and priorities. To a musician, studying mathematics is a massive waste of time, yet to an accountant, it's time well spent. I also believe that using time to make yourself happier is one of the best ways to spend it. Oftentimes, we'll find ourselves in a position where, sure, it's more important to touch up an essay due in a few days or to study for a test later that week. But is it truly a waste of time to instead spend that time talking with friends or bonding with family? Time that we enjoy wasting is not time wasted. That being said, however, if you regret doing something or wish you had done something else after the fact, then what you had done was probably a waste of time. We've all fallen victim to procrastination before, and I personally have missed several critical deadlines because I had wasted my time and I had taken time for granted. Rarely is there enough time. We all find ourselves wishing for more time to spend with friends and family, more time to do what we want to do, more time for rest and relaxation. But time doesn't stop just because we may need an extra hour before a deadline. Time doesn't stop just because we want to spend another few months with our friends before we all go our separate ways. One moment. With the recent quarantine, many of us find ourselves with far more free time than we've ever had before. So I ask, do not take this time for granted. Use it wisely. Relax, sleep in, bond with friends or family. Pick up a new hobby. Spend your time doing the things that make you happy with the people that make you happy. You are never going to get this time back, so don't waste a second of it, because every minute wasted is a minute that you'll find yourself regretting later on. As Jim Croce put it, there never seems to be enough time to do the things we want to do once we find them. So I ask all of you to not take this time for granted, to not assume that time is always going to be on your side, because time is never on your side. Time is ruthless. Time doesn't care about our emotions or our feelings, and before we know it, time is going to pass us by. No matter how invincible we may feel, no matter how much time we think we have, we must never forget that we are always running out of time.
So next, I would like to introduce our valedictorian, Audrey Feldman. Unfortunately, Audrey could not be present tonight as she is out at the University of Notre Dame and she had to move into her dorm yesterday. So we have previously recorded her speech, so if you give us just a second, we're going to cue that up for everybody.
Welcome, everyone, to the Berlin High School Class of 2020 graduation. It's been a long road, but we made it. This is our moment. This certainly wasn't the senior year we expected, but the fact that we are all graduating today is a testament to our resilience, and I congratulate each of you for making it this far. If you've ever seen The Office, I'm sure you remember Andy Bernard saying, "I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them." I'm sure that many of us wish the same thing. When we walked out of BHS that fateful afternoon on March 13th, we never imagined that would be our last day of high school. What teachers would we have thanked? What friends would we have hugged? What classrooms would we have visited if we knew we would never be let back in again? But we aren't here to reminisce on what might have been. This graduation is more than a conclusion to our abbreviated high school careers. It marks the beginning of the next chapter in our lives. When I was 5 years old, I wanted to be an astronaut, and a veterinarian, and a teacher, and an Olympic horseback rider, and a firefighter, and the President of the United States. I was ambitious, to say the least, as many of us were at 5 years old. But whenever I told an adult my aspirations, they would smile, laugh, and in the kindest but most euphemistic way possible, tell me no. I couldn't do all those things. I couldn't ride horses in a classroom or run a country from the International Space Station. At first, their concerns didn't bother me. I could prove them wrong. But time went on, and I grew up, and I began to let go of my fantasies. When I was 18 years old, I wanted to have a memorable senior year. See where this is going? I wanted to take pictures in senior court on May 1st. I wanted to go to the beach on senior skip day. I wanted to have my yearbook signed by the hundreds of students and teachers who have left an indelible imprint on my life. And even though I wrote a nice but strongly worded letter to Ned Lamont explaining why I want to return to school, He said no. I couldn't do all those things. I couldn't visit friends during quarantine or have a senior breakfast during a pandemic. At first, I was crushed. All of us were. But time went on. The hope of a normal senior year diminished. But this time, I refused to let go of my dreams. This pandemic forced us to change our can'ts into can-dos. Can't have live capstone presentations? Record them. Can't have a choral or band concert? Do it virtually. Can't meet as a club? Do a live stream. The numerous ways that BHS seniors adapted and thrived in these new circumstances are incredible. Even though this pandemic took a lot away from us, perhaps it gave us even more in return. We learned that the word no is not a dead end. It merely suggests that we might have to take a back door. If we accepted every single no we were told this year, none of us would be here right now. This pandemic showed us that we have more resilience, more persistence, more courage than we knew. What will we do with this newfound strength? That is up to you. Maybe an internship is open. Do it. A study abroad is starting? Apply for it. An expert in your field is at the same event as you? Talk to them. Your dream job is across the country? Go for it. The greatest opportunities in life are the ones that nobody else knew to take. Kurt Vonnegut Jr.'s novel, Slaughterhouse-Five, is famously known for saying, "God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom always to tell the difference." But I strongly disagree with this. As long as something lies in the realm of today or tomorrow, it can be changed. We were told that we could not have a memorable senior year, but we did. Memories of car parades, senior assassins, and sitting in Zoom classes half asleep with your mic and video off will always stay with us. And in the future, we will harness this mentality to change the status quo in our communities, our state, and our nation. We will become the sort of people that our ambitious 5-year-old selves would have wanted us to be. We will become astronauts and veterinarians and teachers and Olympic horseback riders and firefighters and presidents of the United States. Berlin High School Class of 2020. If anyone can change the world, it's you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience with our technical difficulties. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Brian Benigni.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to share some words with you at this long overdue 2020 graduation ceremony. I first want to extend my congratulations to the graduates. Today is your day to celebrate your success. To family and friends, today is also your day, as you have made meaningful contributions here also. To fellow teachers, administrators, and support staff, is your day of passage too, as we recognize that all teaching was not in the curriculum, especially this year. This year was different. You, in fact, have been the first to endure and to work through challenges like none before. Because suddenly, everything changed. The school year was rolling along. You might have even arrived at a point where you were counting the days until graduation, planning ahead along familiar pathways, but suddenly, everything changed. A pandemic like nothing in 100 years brought a tsunami of change arriving out of the blue. Schools closed, relationships shifted, activities were canceled, all of the satisfying functional patterns and routines were scrambled. And like so many others, perhaps you felt unsettled, unbalanced, and unsure about how best to move forward. But you did. It can be difficult to adjust to change in our lives, even the positive ones, but you did. Our educational procedures had to shift and respond on the fly. There was a new learning methodology from home. It required adaptation, and you did. So what I most want to explore and share with you this evening is the important concept of resilience. The dictionary defines resilience as the capacity to recover quickly from difficulty, toughness, to return to pre-crisis quickly. Resilience is an important human characteristic. It requires that we remain flexible in our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors when faced with a disruption in our life or in response to an extended periods of pressure. The goal is to emerge from any difficulty stronger, wiser, and more able. Resilience is actually something that everyone can learn and develop through its own personal journey. It requires that we can return to a calmness, to pay attention to our emotions, and to our body's physical responses. It is easier to describe to you than it is to do. We need to learn to tolerate uncomfortable feelings, even while we hope and believe that they will be temporary. We also need to be realistic. Some bad things can happen to us or to friends or family around us. When we accept that we can avoid the "why is this happening to me" every time something happens to you. Resilience asks that you look at the bigger picture in your life. Find your purpose. Take responsibility for your life and work hard for your future. Within your life structure, build supportive relationships, people you can count on for counsel and help in trying times. Establish a positive attitude. Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "When it is dark enough, you can see the stars." Uncertainty will remain with us as we look ahead to the future. Yet you can build your stamina, strength, and your reserves, and fortify your resilience. Resilience doesn't make problems go away. It gives you the capacity to move past them. It's the sum of what you have done this whole school year already. And so we cope, we adjust, we adapt, we begin again. Resilience has been needed for this time. It will be needed for all of your times. Know that throughout your lives, a number of challenges will suddenly appear, and you will be required to respond. The choice you have is how you choose to respond. Finally, I would challenge you to still express gratitude. I'll start. Thanks to all of you who have made this evening possible. Students, teachers, administrators, family members, staff, Board of Education members, and for the ongoing support of the wider Berlin community. This could not happen without all of you. And let's not forget to thank each other for this high school experience you have created. Now you will leave the ceremony as proud graduates of Berlin High School. Go make your marks on a world that needs your gifts. At this time, Board of Education Representative Tracy Sisti, I, Superintendent Brian Benigni, certify that the group of graduates in front of you for the class of 2020 have met the requirements established by the Board of Education for graduation. Congratulations.
Welcome, everyone. Not all of the Berlin High School class of 2020 graduates could be here with us tonight. However, we will still be recognizing each of the members of the graduating class of 2020. Ready? Daniel Edward Lynch. Matthew Nicholas Uriga. Audrey Sue Feldman. Jenna Catherine Smalley. Jake Andrew Holmes. Maria Rose Butrimus. Haley Allison Nardelli. Anna Elizabeth Sarazin. Abigail Lucy Rochette. Adam Kaiser. Emily Lynn Rutledge. Emma Caitlin Roski. Nicholas Daniel Acarpio. Mark Anthony Adamo. Diana Esoyomewe Akata. Amanda Marie Albert. Ashley Ryan Alkis. Alejandro Alberto Arcila Jr. Morgan Renee Aru. Kaylee Rose Balaban. Jordan Elizabeth Barber. Lucas Richard Beretta. Skylar Rain Bassett. Jeffrey Ben Giovanni. Lillian Marie Beerworth. Olivia Rose Biscaglio. I got you. Isabella R. Black. John Patrick Bogach. Stephanie Elizabeth Boyce. Danielle Marie Boscolo. Matthew Adam Bouchard. Courtney Jessica Braga. Valerie Nicole Braga. Kelly Ann Brett. Lorenzo Joseph Bucari. Nathaniel Elias Burgos. Rory K. Burns. Leah Ariana Cabral. Emmanuel Ray Cadogan. Gabriel Francis Caliandri. Juliana Cancelleri. Vicente C. Carbonell. Jace Alec Karen. Jack Carroll. Andrew J. Salella. Justin Richard Chira. Julia M. Cocoza. Francisco Colon. Peter J. Cugno. Salvatore Coltrera. Olivia Grace Sear. Paul Mario Demore. Julia Morgan D'Addario. Kyle Howard Daly.
Alexis R. Dasher. Vincenzo Marco Distoli. Holly Barry David. Vincenzo William DiFrancesco. Joshua Lawrence DeGroff. Megan Elizabeth DeGroff. Tyler Blake DeGroff. Michael Christopher DeMeo. Matthew J. Dennis. Cora R. Derwanko. Jacob Richatelli Derwanko. Derek Richard Demaray. Xander M. DeVoe. Siobhan Maeve Dornfried. Eric P. Drajanowski. Jake E. Dubuck. Sydney Aubin Duke. Serge Richard Duquette. Taylor Mary Edmond. Antonio Carmine Fazina. Rachel M. Fitzsimmons. Amanda May Birch. Paige Elizabeth Gagnon. Simon S. Garbecki. Stephen Robert Gendro. Callie Sue Gendron. Christopher James Gendron. Samantha Grace Getsky. Armando A. Goys. Nolan Parker Graca. Evan M. Greenwald. Michael E. Greenwald. Kobe Lee Hagan. Nathaniel Bruce Hansen. Tiana Fairs Hayek. Ryan Christopher Holland. Amber Ray Holliday. Zachary Ryan Harubik. Ryan Daniel Hunt. Ali Hussein. Kazar Hussein. Nancy Victoria Ingenito. Linnea Marie Jacobson. Matthew C. Jakiel. Audrey Grace Jankovic. Kiernan Zay Jennings. Aiden Connor Jones. Morgan Lee Jones. Nicole Juarez. Mahad Ali Khan. Zachary Jacob Coops. Simon Alexander Kopex. Kyle James Krupa. Amy E. Cuckle. Alexis Irene Kuhn. Justin Thomas Lemerow. Ryan David Langlois.
Rory Elizabeth Lee. Adam Joseph Liberta. Benjamin Stewart Lincoln. Elizabeth Yvonne Litwinko. Grace Catherine Machada. Jeffrey Stephen Medea. Joshua Ryan Malcarne. Federica Marcio. Isabella Maria Marino. Marta Mazurik. Adriana J. McLean. Nielis Mercado. Carly Katrina Mashad. Vincenzo Paul Mealy. Ashlyn Isla Montanez. James D. Maurice. Shayla Brooke Morrill. Jacob Thomas Morris. Patrick Joseph Morris. Elsbeth Gray Morton. Melanie Jeanette Mauser. Ryan Kenneth Munch. Camden Donald Murphy. Zachary Tyler Murray. Moise Nadim. Gabriel A. Negrao. Andrew Elton Nicoletta. Charles B. Nims. Emma Michelle Norton. Aiden Thomas O'Connor. Nathan F. Ord. Monica G. Patacula. Jillian H. Pampiro. Dante J. Parks. Michael Stanley Parzik. Nicholas William Parzik. Ethan M. Pasquale. Grace Perkins. Madison Page Peretta. Benjamin R. Plagg. Muzayana Shavkatovna Polatova. Noah Matthew Reed. Devin Marie Riley. Michael E. Rivera. Andrew Reed Roberti. Ryzen Jakes Rodrigue. Marian Ellis Rodriguez de Jesus. Alicia Marie Rolfe. Christian James Rose. David Mark Russell. Heather Christine Ryan. Ryan Thomas Saley. Jillian Rose Santana. Jayshawn C. Santiago Rivera. Victoria Rose Santiago. Richard John Scalora.
Aaron L. Sens. Christian Michael Sierra. Duncan Joseph Samard. Jacob Skinner. Jacob Wayne Sparks. Nathan Robert Spencer. Abigail R. St. Germain. Rebecca T. Stanton. Timothy John Staple. Catherine Patricia Sterace. Jayla Naiji Sutton. Grace Elizabeth Taylor. Jetneil A. Tejada. Neil David Ty. Carly Rose Tomasi. Samantha M. Trolley. Dawson Arthur Trotman. Robert R. Turcott. Anthony Vincent Undercuffler. Gregory Stevens Wadinger. Jessica Benet Weber. Hunter Dem Wookland. Michael John Williams Jr. Samuel J. Willamets. Marcus Wisnarski. Marcel K. Woolanen. Joshua Stephen Wood. Alexander James Young. Dylan Stephen Yoder. Alexander Zadwatsky. Isabella Ann Zimber. James Richard Zovich.
Congratulations, everybody. We have a little bit of a fireworks display for you, so please enjoy. We're so happy that you're all here. Congratulations, everybody. Enjoy the fireworks show. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Graduates, congratulations again. You can make your way back to your families. Thank you so much, everybody. It's great to see all of you.